All right, guys, it's Boyd here with the Productive Soul. Time to have another meaningful conversation around what it takes to just really honor your own path with whatever it is that you're up to, right? Whether you're a product manager, project engineer, father or mother, someone who wants to have more soulful impact in your lane, where you kind of identify yourself. This is a conversation for those who on that journey, but realize that they find themselves either overwhelmed, sometimes even depressed, angry, aggravated, or anxious. And so I want you to, have some hope and have some faith here that we're going to work through a process that's going to allow you to use brain dumping to control anxiety better. Okay, so being able to control your anxiety better, we're going to go through 3 steps. So I'm going to break up this particular segment of the Productive Soul series into 3 elements, or 3 phases. The first phase is the brain dumping phase. And that brain dumping phase is the phase where you kind of take everything that's in your brain, that's on your mind, and you capture it somewhere. You put it somewhere. You put it in a note app, or you can put it on a piece of paper. I prefer, at least in the initial phases, what I call the training wheel phase, until you kind of get used to the rhythm of this. I prefer that you take the time to put it on a piece of paper, right? And if you use the 25 Blueprint method, you have access to the Academy and the downloads that you use the 25 Blueprint sheet that is specifically designed for this brain dumping exercise to give yourself some peace of mind and some freedom, right, around all the tasks and all the things that there are to do, okay, for you. So that being said, let's get right into how to use your brain, of course, but use brain dumping to control your anxiety better. And I'm going to switch over to giving you a day in the life of, a typical, let's just say the average adult brain, right, here in the US, and maybe, even beyond the US, right? I think we all have very similar concerns. We have concerns for whether it's family members, children, job, money, vacations. We all have same struggles, right? So some of these are going to be easy for you to identify with. So let me walk you through an exercise that I love walking my audiences through to help them really understand what they're really up against, what they've been feeling for a long time, but didn't really have words for. Okay, so let me just kind of pause for a second. I'm going to show you a screen that will walk you through what anxiety feels like on the mind. And of course, you're going to feel it in your body. Hang on one second. Let me just switch screens. Here we go. Okay, I'm pulling this screen up. All right. So let's go to how anxiety feels. Okay, can you guys see my screen now? So this is how anxiety feels, all right? This is just an illustration, not the absolute case for you, but this is just an illustration. So I want you to imagine that this is your brain, and this is how your brain is, set up. And say on any given moment before you wake up, it's clear like this, okay? And all of a sudden you realize like, oh, wow, I need to, all of a sudden you realize, man, I need to stop at Whole Foods on the way back, right? Or on your way into work, you realize you need to stop at Whole Foods to pick up something because it's potluck day or whatever it is, right? So then all of a sudden you got to prep for the next meeting, right? Or whatever's going on at work. Then you realize, oh man, I need to meditate. Then you realize, did I book the flights already for that next vacation, that next trip that I was planning to take? Then you think, oh man, I'm volunteering on Saturday. I got to check my calendar to see if I'm still available for that. Then you got your own personal care stuff. Okay, you got to get your nails done, got to get your hair done. Maybe you got to schedule a dental appointment, right? There's all this personal care stuff. Maybe schedule a massage, right? That's long overdue. Then you got to work with the kids. If you're a parent, you got to work with the kids on their homework because you got a call last week about how so-and-so didn't turn in their assignment. Then you realize like, okay, tomorrow I got to leave at 7 a.m. because if I don't leave at 7 a.m., traffic is going to be bad if I need to stop at Whole Foods first to get the stuff that I need to get to the office, right? Then you realize like, oh man, it's been a while. I need to go over my finances. I know things have been tight lately. Then you realize I need to make sure the fill in the blank bill is paid because I've been getting emails telling me that it's overdue and I don't want that to get overdue and then mess up my credit. Then you're like, okay, am I making dinner tonight or am I grabbing dinner? I can't remember. Then you ask yourself, who's picking up the kids today? Oh, is it my turn to pick up the kids? Because I couldn't remember. Then you're like, you're stuck in traffic, right? or you realize like, oh, that time you wanted to plan to leave is not going to be early enough because traffic is going to be there. Then you're like, what time is that meeting tomorrow that I need to prepare for? Then you start thinking, man, I need to get more sleep. Then you start thinking, oh, you just look at your phone and your phone shows you that 13th missed call. You're like, oh, I got to call so-and-so back. Then you also realize it's only 10 o'clock at night. You're like, man, I need to take out this garbage tonight because I'm not going to have time to take it out in the morning because tomorrow is garbage pickup day. Then you realize, man, you know what? Let me check the mail. I know I've been expecting such and such of a correspondence to get back to me. Then you realize like one of those missed calls is a doctor's appointment that you weren't sure what the day was, but now they're calling to confirm with you. Then you realize you're not spending enough time with the kids, and maybe not spending enough time with your significant other, right? Not spending enough time creating date night. Then you realize, man, you've got to, for that trip that you haven't booked the flight for, you also need to book the hotel. Then you realize like, okay, on that day, you got to either, are you going to Uber it to the airport or are you going to do the park and ride? Then you realize it's time to wake up because you just fell asleep from the overwhelm, right? And because of that, now it's time to go grab some Starbucks, okay? You guys follow me on this? And then you ask yourself, what am I working on today? What is going on with my life, right? So this is your brain on anxiety, right? Like, I mean, it's the overwhelm first, but the anxiety kicks in when you look at all these things that are in front of you and you just are crippled. You just give up. You don't even want to move. And then if you got kids, they come into you, mommy, what's for dinner? Mommy, what's for dinner? Right? And or maybe you get the phone call if you're the husband, right? Or the boyfriend, significant other, whatever your role is, you get the phone call going, hey, honey, can you pick up a pizza on the way back? Okay? Very, very wow. And then you got to check your email. Whew, this is what anxiety feels like. Okay? And this is just a fraction of the things that are on your mind. Okay? All right. So we clear that when you're in this stage, you need to clear your mind. Therefore, you need these 3 steps that I'm going to share with you about getting your anxiety under control, right? And how to control anxiety better. So the first step I shared on the Instagram is sort of this step of brain dumping. And so let's take a look at what that document looks like. And then I'll give you and let you know what the next productive soul conversation is going to be like so you can know what to do next. Okay. So let's just again pause here and move to the next image that you need to use, the next tool you need to use in order for you to control your anxiety better. Okay, so let's take a look at this brain dump exercise sheet here that we're looking at, right? So inside of the 24-hour blueprint work, there's some exercises and some exercise sheets that you have access to, right? For those of you who are part of our course. And so the action you want to do with this document here is print this out, download it, get access to it, right? And the next thing that you're going to need to do is begin to write down, I'm going to use blue ink here, begin to write down all those things. So let's just say, you know, let me use a thinner sort of situation here. Hang on one second. I'm going to switch my pen so it's a little easier to write down. I'll just leave it as this, okay? All right, so let's just say you got a review, right? Finances, okay? So again, I mean, my screen here is kind of small compared to like how it would appear if I was using a pen or using this particular tool here. But let's say you got to review finances, right? Okay, great. So then on top of that, what you also need to do, right, or need to be focused on is, you know, you say, all right, you got that doctor's appointment you need to figure out, right? Confirm that. So whatever comes to your mind that you know you need to take care of, right? Maybe you need to switch bank accounts, right? Bank accounts, right? Or create another one. right? Now, in the case of say someone like myself, I know like, oh man, you know what? Maybe I need to buy some crypto. Okay. Again, you maybe need to, you don't have a particular tool that you need to be able to store your crypto. You got to go on the site or search online or research. I'm just, again, using these as examples, right? Research crypto storage tools, right? Now, of course, because I'm using like a little screen that I can write on, all right, this will be a little bit different when you're writing it. So if I scroll down even further now, right, you can now think about, all right, dinner plans, date night. I mean, if it comes to your mind, you got to write it down, okay? If you got a business and you got to like post on social media, right? Post online. Now I'm using my entire screen, right? Just to kind of exaggerate this exercise. But when you have your own brain dump exercise sheet like this, you want to kind of course, keep it on the page and have it all written there, okay? So once you have all of this written down and captured, there's going to be a moment for you where you're going to need to do, you're going to face another situation, okay? Once you have these three phases captured here. So the first phase, right, is the brain dump, okay? So we already just did that exercise, okay? So that's step one, okay? Now, when you have all those activities written down on the brain, the next step you want to focus on is now the organizing of those items, right? And those items need to be organized under 5 categories. Those 5 categories are, if you're following and have been following the content, are also broken up into what are called 5 kingdoms. Okay, I won't get into all those right now as far as the details, but they need to be broken up into 5 kingdoms. Okay, that way you now are starting to control what you're going to get overwhelmed or anxious about. I know that sounds crazy, but if you know you're going to be anxious, you might as well be in control about what you're going to get anxious about. But the irony is that once you kind of have a sense that you have all those items in some organized way under control, you feel relieved, you feel free, okay? And then the last step, that's step 2. So then the last step, this is really the most favorite step, which is when you get to really take some action, okay? And we're taking this action and implementation, right? Action / implementation. What now starts to happen is you're gonna end up having a sheet that you get that gives you tasks, right? Based on how you've broken these items up in categories, okay? So, and these actions are going to be related to each kingdom. So you'll have an action sheet for and the 5 kingdoms, for those of you who are like, okay, well, what are the 5 kingdoms? All right, so the 5 kingdoms I mentioned to you are faith, so kingdom 1, faith, kingdom 2, fellowship, kingdom 3, finances, kingdom 4, feelings, kingdom 5, fitness, okay? Each kingdom translated can be, the kingdom of faith is all things spiritual, mindset oriented and driven, and philosophy oriented, right? Your own philosophy of yourself, your own philosophy about a higher power, higher, the universe, right? And what your relationship is to it, right? So that's kingdom 1. Faith converts and translates into spirituality, right? And mindset. Fellowship translates into relationships in your social life. Finances, the kingdom of finances translates into all things related to your money and finances, just like it says. The 4th is the kingdom of feelings, that translates into your emotional states and well-being, right? And anything that has to do with just managing your energetic experience and your energetic states, okay? Then fitness it's not just limited to your body and exercise. It's also inclusive of course, your diet and also how you are organized in your life and in your environment in order for you to be your most productive self. Okay, so all those things said, each kingdom is going to get one of these action sheets so that you now feel like you are really in control of all of these tasks based on the kingdom that it's related to. And now you can march forward, right? Knowing what the tasks are that you need to address based on the kingdom. So if you remember the image that I showed you before, right? There's an exercise where, where you take all those activities and you break them down into categories. Let me see if I can actually show you guys that. Let me take a step back here. So 1 second. So for you, okay? So 1 second. All right, so remember I talked about how anxiety feels, right? So what happens now is you now have to go into another phase where you got to organize all those thoughts, right? And I mentioned to you that they need to be organized by kingdom: faith, fellowship, finances, feelings, and fitness. This is a little sneak peek into what we're going to address next week. And I'm so tempted to spoil it for you and tell you how it all works out. But nope, you got to come back and check out the next Productive Soul conversation, where we break this all down into these 5 kingdoms and really begin to simplify how you approach the overwhelm so that you can really control the anxiety better. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me in this particular session. This is like really part 1 of the whole thing. And I'm just, really just thankful that you guys continue to join, continue to support, show love for the product, show love for the content, and of course, take action and respond with letting me know what the results are that you're getting from participating and taking action, right? So if you want to continue controlling or influencing your own path in being a productive soul and use this productive approach or this brain dumping approach to control your anxiety better, tune into the next Productive Soul conversation where I'll walk you through how to break this all down into the 5 kingdoms and to begin to control your anxiety better for yourself and your life. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I will catch you all soon. Take care. Peace.